Optimus Prime is him. Plain and simple. He's the GOAT.
Greatest players to have ever played the game. No doubt about it. He has exceeded expectation, and I have nothing but respect, profound respect for the greatness. There's nothing to discuss here.
Since the 1980s, Optimus Prime has been the biggest him of all time, man. This guy has just been an absolute unit.
Prime. One shall stand, one shall fall.
But one must ask, there have been many versions of Optimus Prime, many iterations of the Transformers as a whole. Generation 1, Transformers Prime, Transformers Animated, IDW. And with Transformers Rise of the Beast coming out this June, that amount is not going to get any smaller. To me personally though, my favorite will always be Michael Bay's version of the character. This version of Prime had it all. This version of Prime was a very wise and just leader of the Autobots. He was a very fierce warrior. He had a jetpack, he was fighting dinosaurs, and then he was riding dinosaurs, and then in the last movie...
That shit stank, don't it? Ugh.
I agree, the Bayverse had many problems, but Optimus Prime was not one of those problems. Contrary to popular belief, I actually believe that Optimus Prime from the Bayverse is actually one of the strongest iterations of the character. Shocking, I know. But I'm telling you, this guy has some really nasty metas. And he's not the jobber that I thought he was, being able to put down the likes of Monster vs. Godzilla, DCEU Superman, and basically destroy anyone from the MCU for the most part. But before we get into that, I'd like to thank y'all for the support on my last video. Bless up, thank y'all very much. I'd also like y'all to follow my Instagram and also follow a friend of mine's Instagram. He's actually a very prominent Bayverse scaler on the gram, so he actually provided me with the scans and metas that I'm going to use in this very video, so bless him up if you want to. So now that we got all of that out the way, we're going to talk about Optimus Prime's attack potency, his speed, durability, skill, and any other thing that would be relevant to this video. Starting off with attack potency, Quintessa has a feat in which she moves a planet. This is very notable for Optimus Prime scaling because Bumblebee is the one that kills Quintessa, and Optimus Prime himself gets a good shot at her and injures her. Plus, Optimus Prime would scale above Quintessa due to Bumblebee killing her because in the exact same movie, Optimus Prime as Nemesis Prime basically almost kills Bumblebee very casually.
You are nothing!
The feat mentioned, moving Cybertron, was calced to around large planet level, so off the bat we can get Optimus Prime to large planet level plus. This is consistent with Optimus Prime's overall scaling, because in a film prior to this one, Optimus Prime was able to beat the Fallen. The Fallen was the antagonist to a prior Bayverse movie, and he's able to endure the explosion of the Star Harvester, which was built to destroy stars and suns. The Fallen's scaling doesn't cap at star level though, as we'll see in the next section of this video. Before we talk about the Fallen's higher end scaling, I'd like to talk about Age of Extinction, in which Optimus Prime fights the resurrected version of Megatron, being Galvatron. Optimus scaling the Galvatron is very impressive because Galvatron was actually empowered by black holes and singularities. And if you know anything about black holes, they're nothing to scoff at. Optimus Prime could fight on par, injure, and take blows from Galvatron, so him scaling the Galvatron and said black holes and singularities isn't really a question. This would put Optimus Prime in the solar system levels of power, because black holes' gravitational force is greater than that of neutron stars, which are around solar system level. Optimus' scaling gets even crazier by The Last Knight, where he's able to one-shot the Quintessa upgraded version of Megatron. Optimus also slices his arm off really easily.
But wait, there's more.
Solar system isn't the peak of power in the Bayverse. In order to find the highest possible end of power, you're gonna have to go back to Revenge of the Fallen. Fallen is known as a trans-dimensional being, which for the most part means he comes from a dimension higher than either 3 dimensions or the higher cosmology, so meaning at a lowest end, the Fallen would be a universal plus being, which is consistent because, according to guidebook statements, the Fallen channels and wields unquantifiable amounts of energy, and he can generate this power in focused bursts, and he possesses the awesome power to unmake creation at will, meaning that he can destroy the entire cosmology of the Bayverse, which in the same movie is confirmed to be a 17-dimensional construct.
Book is only one problem. Einstein's wrong. Energy does give me last times velocity light square in this dimension. What about the other 17? What are we talking about?
So take that as you will. So if, hypothetically speaking, the Fallen could destroy a 17-dimensional construct, that would make him a hyperversal being. Optimus, of course, scales to this for obvious reasons.
Give me your faith. I rise, you fall.
This may be a surprise to some of y'all, but Optimus Prime universal scaling is actually pretty consistent. For starters, the Fallen being able to destroy all of creation would mean that he would be able to destroy the Allspark. In a canon prequel comic to the Transformers movies, it's revealed that the Allspark actually created the entire universe. A good way to scale this directly to Optimus Prime is because according to a guidebook, Optimus Prime's spark is almost as powerful as the Allspark, or it should be on par with the Allspark, which created the entire universe. The Fallen even blatantly states that he evolved past the Allspark, and we all know what happened to him. Bro, that Fortnite joke reminded me that Optimus Prime is actually coming to Fortnite next week, bro. What timeline do we live in, man?
Optimus, all I ever wanted was the survival of our race. You must see why I had to betray you.
You didn't betray me. You betrayed yourself.
No, Optimus!
Before we move on to speed, I'd like to clarify the difference between attack potency and destructive capacity. I feel like this is relevant to the video because a lot of people who don't understand power scaling will always try to make power scaling look dumb. Like for example, Optimus Prime being universal as I'm currently saying he is. I'm not saying Optimus Prime could punch the universe and it would explode, per se. I'm more or less saying that Optimus Prime could fight people who do have that type of power. A good example of attack potency and destructive capacity is Kratos. Kratos is someone who can fight people who can destroy universes, but Kratos punches boulders and they're still intact. That's because in reality, Kratos has universal or higher attack potency feats, right? But his destructive capacity isn't to that same level. Destructive capacity basically means the level of something that you can destroy. Like when I say someone is a planet buster, that would imply that they have planet destroying destructive capacity. So attack potency, destructive capacity, you gotta realize the difference. So when I say Optimus Prime has universal plus attack potency, that means he can box anyone who can destroy a single universe. Surprisingly, Optimus Prime is no slouch, and his speed metas are a lot better than I expected them to be. One of the lower ends for Optimus Prime would be around massively faster than Light Plus. Essentially, in the first Transformers movie, he's able to tag and catch Megatron while he's in jet form. Megatron in jet form was able to travel across the galaxy, and the calc for this was around massively faster than Light Plus. Optimus Prime blatantly scales to this level of speed, as when Megatron turns into the same jet form, Optimus Prime is able to react and catch him. And for higher speed metas, there's an infinite speed meta because Optimus scales to the Fallen, and the Fallen were able to hop between dimensions. If you're assuming that this was via speed, then this would quantify for infinite speed. And if you really want to wank Optimus's speed, I have two more speed metas. In The Last Knight, there's a character named Hot Rod, and he has an ability called Stop the Time. Basically, he shoots little bubbles, and he stops the time in these little bubbles. Optimus Prime puts his hand through one of these bubbles, and he's able to move pretty fine, so Optimus Prime would be moving in stopped time. So if you think that Stop the Time stops time in the little bubble, then Optimus Prime would quantify for inaccessible speed. The highest end you can argue for Optimus Prime would be around immeasurable speed. This is because, if you remember, the Transformers cosmology could potentially be a 17-dimensional construct, and the Fallen has the power to destroy all of it, so he would scale to 17 dimensions, so he would pretty much quantify automatically for immeasurable speed. But that's kind of a radish argument. I just pointed it out because it exists. Moving on to Optimus Prime's durability, and believe it or not, it actually scale it to wherever you scale his attack potency. Optimus Prime has consistently shown that he is able to take what he can dish out. Optimus Prime has had many physical altercations where he's lost limbs, been injured, and kept on fighting. So I'd scale his attack potency to his durability. I already know what some of y'all gonna say.
Well, actually, Optimus Prime and Megatron get injured by missiles and tanks all the time, so they can't possibly scale high touching, because that would simply be small building level, as tanks in real life are small building level. And now I just shit myself.
It's actually confirmed that all of the weapons that mankind uses in these movies are augmented Cybertronian tech, so it's alien technology they're using. Plus, mankind in the Bayverse has been aware of alien technology all the way since the 60s, or even probably before then, so to say that mankind in real life is as strong as mankind in the Bayverse would be kind of reaching. In fact, it'd be a little bit more than reaching. Corey, why don't you tell him what that'd be?
Stupid!
Alright, so let's sum up Optimus Prime's ends. At a low end, he'd be planetary to solar system level with massively faster light speed. A mid end would be universal with massively faster light speed or infinite speed. And high ends are hyperversal and inaccessible to immeasurable speed. I personally find more credence in universal Optimus Prime, but higher ends exist, so I thought I would point them out to any of you guys who want to argue them. So put some respect on Optimus Prime's name. What's that? Y'all don't want to put some respect on the ghost name? You want to say he's small buildings though? That's fine, that's perfectly acceptable.
I got a friend here. His name is 12 Gauge. He only speaks one language, and that's buckshot.
No, he's small building level.